What is up, guys? My name is Pocketcraft, and welcome back to the Minecraft Pocket Edition Survival Guide. So in today's video, we're going to be visiting a structure in Minecraft called a Woodland Mansion, and we're going to be rating it for its resources and showing you some of the interesting creatures or mobs that are there that we have not encountered yet. Now, to get to a Woodland Mansion, you could just happen upon one, but the easiest way to find one is to get a Woodland Explorer map, which I actually already traded for one off camera when I was just had a bunch of emeralds and spending them. But you can get a Woodland Explorer map from a cartographer, as well as an Ocean Explorer map, which we'll deal with next episode probably. Pretty much every cartographer, when you level them up, will have this. Sometimes I think they'll only have one of the two, but if you got a cartographer or two, you level them up, you should be able to get it. And then sometimes you need to trade a compass with them as well. Compass is pretty easy to make, just takes like some redstone and some iron, I think. So I'm heading over to my new Elytra launcher that we just made in a YouTube short. And for you guys, that would have come out several months ago, but I just made it. And so you guys can check that out if you'd like, but I want to use that just because it's fun. And I want to let you guys see it if none of the people in the Survival Guide series have seen it yet. But I'll show you how these maps work because we haven't actually covered maps yet. And so a map, and I believe it's possible to put it in your offhand. It is. So that's what I think is easiest. So as you can see, you can almost barely see it. It's by the experience bar. If you put a map, I'll show you since we haven't used one yet. It's probably a good idea to do a little more in depth of what a map can do. Oops, I was trying to get the torches in there. That doesn't work like that. So you can put it in both hands like this, and it's a little bit bigger. And as you can see, we're in the bottom right corner. We're actually not on the map yet. So that means if we travel in this direction enough, eventually we'll get on the map. But it'll take a good amount of time probably. We're probably pretty far from it. So I'm going to put the map into my offhand. I'm going to put my Elytra on. And then we are going to head in the direction of this Woodland Mansion. So I'll show you guys how this Elytra launcher works if you didn't see the short. We'll walk across this pressure plate, get launched up, and then we fly up. But let's head, make sure we're heading in the right direction. All right, this is where we're going to want to go. And so this could take a very long time. So I'm just going to fly in this direction, and I'll bring you guys back when I get on the map. Okay, just a quick pause here. We did find a jungle, which is a pretty rare biome. And so just really quickly, I'm going to cut down this bamboo so we can start farming that, and I can have that because that's a pretty good item to farm. That's an ocelot, by the way, which is pretty cool. I'm also going to grab these cocoa beans from this tree over here. But then I'm just going to get right back to flying. All right, so I landed here really quickly because I wanted to show you guys something. If you look on the map, the white arrow is now in the middle of the bottom instead of on the side. And so what this means is that our X coordinate is now pretty much in line with where the Woodland Mansion is. So what that means is what we need to do is just keep going in the Y direction, and we should get there soon. Now, technically speaking, it could still be like 10,000 blocks in the Y direction. It could take a really long time. Hopefully that's not the case, but this is encouraging because it does mean we're close. So I'm going to get up, keep heading in that direction, and I'll bring you guys back when the map starts to fill in. All right, as you can see, the map is slowly starting to fill in. So this means that we're really, really close because that's one thing about these maps is they're actually really small. And so when it starts to fill in, you are not far at all. So as soon as you start to see something get in on the map, you'll be able to reach the Woodland Mansion in like no time at all. And so this is definitely good news. And you'll notice that the Woodland Mansion spawns in a pretty like dense, thick looking forest. But here we are. This is what a Woodland Mansion looks like. As you can see, they're pretty dang big. And they look pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I actually really like the vibe of Woodland Mansions. I've only raided one once before. And there really isn't the best loot in there, but I think they look pretty cool. And so I think the best plan here, what we should do, is we need to hop down, and I just realized that I forgot an ender chest. So I'm pretty dumb, pretty mad at myself about that. I definitely was hoping to bring an ender chest so I could put some items in there, especially like the bamboo and cocoa beans, but also that has some good items in there in case I die. But I'm going to take a screenshot here just so I remember the exact coordinates. And then it's probably a good idea when you get here to take out a bed and to set your respawn point. Because right now, if I die, there is no way I'll probably get my stuff back. Because I am about 16,000 blocks, give or take, from my base. It's a good idea to equip a shield because there are some mobs in here that are pretty powerful. And that's the main thing that we're going to be going over here, are the mobs that are in here are kind of the biggest thing. But torches are something you definitely want to bring. This place is really dark. You want to light it up best you can because you don't want other mobs spawning than the natural generated mobs. You don't want a creeper coming up behind you when you're fighting some of the illagers here. And illagers are the name of the type of mobs that spawn in here. And so they naturally generate with the structure. There'll be a certain amount in here. And once you kill them, there won't be any more. They don't like keep spawning like a zombie spawner or something. But we'll be talking a little bit mostly about the type of mobs that spawn in here. And now they used to be a lot cooler because they would just spawn in here, but now they're in raids as well. And so when villages get attacked, all these guys will spawn, and so you can get stuff from them there. And so Woodland Mansions aren't nearly as useful, but they are still a really cool place to go to. Like if you look at this thing looks sweet. It's like a wool statue of an evoker, I think. And so I'm going to break through just in case, because I know there is one wool face that we'll see later that definitely can have loot behind it. I don't think these ones that are just on the ground floor can. We'll check to be safe, but I don't think they're going to have any in there. Yeah, it definitely doesn't. I feel a little bit bad breaking that because it looks pretty cool. But maybe we'll come back and fix it later. And there actually is the first of the illagers that we want to talk about. So this is a Vindicator, and he looks pretty calm right here. But don't be misled. He is kind of a beast. Once he starts to see you, he'll run at you with an axe. So you're probably wondering why, instead of fighting him, I'm running away or trying to build up. And that's because, like I said, there's only a certain amount that spawn in here. And so I'd like to trap him just because there is something interesting you can do with Vindicators. They have a really interesting mechanic. I did not mean to punch him there. But there's a really interesting mechanic you can do with them that can lead to some really fun stuff that I'd like to show you guys in the future. And now, in all honesty, in retrospect, I probably don't need to be trapping this guy because I could get one way closer to my base just by doing a village raid party, and I could get plenty of them. But that's okay. We'll jump over here so it's easier to trap him. The carpet actually makes it really easy to trap people here because it'll make your blocks just go one block up, so it's pretty easy to trap them. And we could put some blocks down here. It's probably not necessary, but we could do it. And so I'll probably trap maybe just one more. So I have like 2 of these guys. And once again, it's probably not necessary, but if I ever decide to come over here and make some farms, I can. Took a screenshot there just to remember where he is. An important thing about them is that, like I said, they won't despawn because they spawn with this place. But if you do kill them, they're not anymore going to spawn. And so this area right here is full of chests. And if I remember right, it doesn't have any loot in any of these chests. I'll check a couple of them just to be sure. But if I remember correctly, no loot spawns in here. And so I'm going to check through these real quick and then bring you guys back. Yeah, so there's nothing in those, unfortunately. But that's all right. We'll keep looking. The main prize, like I said, are the mobs that spawn in here. And I just realized I went in a circle. But that's okay. We're going to go back here and check out the other side, I believe. There's 2 sides. We went on one, but I think there's another side. And so a Vindicator is one of the mobs that spawns in here. I think there's only one other one, and it's called an Evoker. It's the one that we saw the statue of, and that one is much more dangerous, so let's be careful. Oh, no, I'm getting shot by a skeleton. I had no idea where that was coming from. It is really dark up here, which I do not like. But we might just try and light this up really quickly just to make it a little safer. There we go. I cannot get the light up here. But that way we're just a little bit safer because I don't like it being super dark. Being assaulted by a creeper from behind is not fun. And so some of these rooms, and in fact a lot of these rooms, are purely decorative, like this one. There's not really anything you need to get out of them, but they look kind of fun. That's one thing I actually really like about Woodland Mansions is their design. It's really, really interesting. Like this room right here, I feel like the creators were just going for it and wanted to build something that looked cool. There's not really a whole lot of loot in here, unfortunately. There's a couple cool things you can get, but now with village raids, you can get most of them from village raids as well. So there really isn't a whole lot of special things here, but it's kind of a fun thing to go raid one. And this room is actually kind of nice with the mushrooms because I've been eating more brown mushrooms for my brewing setup, and so I'm happy with that. And you'll find a lot of chests, but most of the time they're empty. I think occasionally some of them will have loot in them, but not always. Ooh, there's 2 of these guys. I kind of want to trap just one more, and it's probably not really important at all because, like I said, with the village raids. But we'll try it anyways. Just get one of these suckers trapped in here just in case we ever decide to move over here. And I think that might be a fun thing to do at some point. Maybe just try and turn a woodland mansion into a base and live in it for a little bit. I'm sure lots of people have done that before because it's a super nice structure. All sorts of cool stuff you can do in here. And once you light it up and clear out all these guys, it's actually pretty safe. Unfortunately, however, there is another one right here. We can check through a couple of them, but there's not going to be anything in there probably. Unfortunately, without my ender chest and shulker boxes, my inventory is probably going to get really full. This is a cool looking like prison area. I don't think they have anyone in here, but it'd actually be really fun to try and trap a vindicator in here. It would be really dangerous. Let's see if we can do it. We're probably going to get like hit pretty good trying to do this. It's the nice thing about having netherite armor. Can we trap him? Oh, I think we got... Oh, wow. He just walked through walls. Yeah, so I don't know if that's really possible. That would be pretty fun to trap one of them in there. But my inventory is getting really full because I did not bring an ender chest or shulker boxes because I was being really dumb. I thought I had prepared so well, but I didn't. But I got a lot of stuff in here that's not really very useful. Like I don't need a bunch of iron axes and stuff. And so I'm going to put some of this stuff in here. And at this point in the video, I'd like to invite all you guys, if you're enjoying this video, to please give it a thumbs up because it really helps me out so much. It only takes a second of your guys' time, but it really strengthens the YouTube algorithm, helps this video get out to a lot of other people. So it does a lot for me, and I put in a lot of time trying to make these videos for you guys. I've been working really hard making like a video a day so I can get all the videos posted while I'm gone. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys did that, but no pressure at all. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you can get all sorts of content for you. And now I have posting an entire Minecraft Pocket Edition Survival Guide series, as you can see from this video. And so if you play on Pocket Edition and you want to learn some stuff, this is the perfect channel to subscribe to because that's what I'm going to be focusing on for a lot of stuff. I do some other stuff too, but I'm doing a lot with that. This is a really interesting room here. I really like the color of that stone and stuff. I might just take some of that, but we'll do that later because my inventory is massively full. This place is cool, and I'd love to like move in or something at some point just for a little bit. But the only issue is it is so far away from everything. But it could give me a chance to set up in some new scenery. But we'll head up the stairs. Oh, there's an evoker. So that is the other bad guy here, and they're a little bit dangerous, so we got to be careful. We took him out surprisingly easy. However, so what he does is he's like a magic guy. And he has two things that he does. One is like an attack on you, but two, he can spawn in these little guys. He's like ghost-looking dudes, and those guys are scary. They can go through walls. They've got like a sword. And so if you get rid of the evoker early, and he's only spawned like one of those, it's really not that big of a deal. But if you're like fighting other mobs or just takes you a while to get to him, it can be really dangerous because he can spawn in quite a few of those guys, and they can be popping around and hitting you while he's hitting you. And it's pretty scary when you're doing village raids, dealing with evokers as well, because sometimes you'll usually build like a wall around the villagers, but those guys, the little flying dudes, can go through, and so can cause a lot of issues. So evokers can be a bit much to deal with, but we didn't have too much of an issue there. And we got a little bit of like a half library here, which is interesting. There's some bookshelves, which is nice. No loot chests or anything, unfortunately, but the bookshelves are cool. Those are always a good item to get more of, and so we'll definitely maybe come back here at some point. There's another evoker. We took him out without any problem. Wow, this is getting pretty easy. And they do drop an interesting item that I'll showcase a little bit later. But those are some beds. It's kind of interesting to look at. I've never seen people make beds out of wool. That's kind of a cool looking thing. Obviously, you can't sleep in them, but I don't know what kind of head this is. We'll check, make sure anything's inside it. I don't think anything's in there, but it's always good to check with something like this. I don't know what this is supposed to be. If that's supposed to be like a vindicator or something. I don't know. But there's nothing inside of it, so we'll move forward. And we're coming in here. Zombie, vindicator, no issues. Trying to see what this room is. They have a lot of interesting designs in here. It looks like this is almost like another makeshift thing to trap people in, which is kind of interesting. And when something's hitting us. Oh, there's a zombie behind us. Take care of that. And then we'll close this area up. Actually, we'll probably leave it open in case we ever want to put something in there. Ooh, and I bet there's something up here. Things up here, there's usually a loot chest or something. We'll light it up just to be safe. Try and limit other spawns so this area is a little bit safer. But there is a chest and Efficiency 2 book. It's not that great, but we'll take it anyways. And a lead, which is always nice. Leads are pretty easy to get now because I have the slime farm, and you can always just take out a wandering trader and get them for free. And so it's not the rarest item, but it's always a good thing to have on hand, and so I'll take that while we're here. Might as well. There's nothing up higher, it looks like, so we'll keep going. And at this point, I kind of like to apologize for my audio. I don't know if it's any worse than normal, but for some reason, my voice recording when I was playing through the game, it worked fine. If I go into my Photos app, I can hear my voice talking while I'm going through. But for some reason, when I put it in either of my editors, I tried the editor I use on my phone. I just use iMovie. Works fine for most of my Minecraft videos. I do that for like all the Minecraft videos because it's free. It works great. And so I don't have any issue with it usually. But I put this in there, and for some reason, just this long clip right here, it did not have any of my voice on it. But if I would go to my Photos app, it still would. So I was pretty confused about that, and so I tried just uploading the video to my computer and putting it in the editor on my computer that I used for some of my other videos. But for some reason, it didn't work there either. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing a voice recording over this after the fact while I'm editing. And so it's not always my genuine reactions, but I remember mostly what I talked about, so it's pretty similar. But at the same time, it's a little bit funny because I remember some things now after going through that I didn't think about when I was originally playing. Like, for example, that none of these wool statues have stuff in them. There's only a certain wool statue that has something in it that we do reach later. So I was a little bit funny about that. But then I also realized that when I was putting in trapping those Vindicators is when I remembered that I can just get them from a village raid. And so that was a little interesting. There is a Vindicator here. We still have not gotten hit by his attack yet. It was interesting. His attack is actually a little bit scary. It could do some good damage to you, but we haven't had to deal with that for one of these guys yet. Here's another pathway upstairs. We'll do that later. Let's finish clearing out this floor, and then we'll go to the next floor. I think on the top floor is where the special statue is that sometimes has loot in it. And that's the thing with Minecraft generated structures. Sometimes they're a little bit inconsistent. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen nether fortresses are probably the best example of where things just go a little bit haywire. And so it can happen here too. So not always does the one thing have loot, but sometimes it does. And so we'll get there in a second. So we'll head up these stairs real quick, check out the next floor. I think there's probably only 3 floors here. I can't remember. There might be a 4th. Got to replenish torches again because I don't want to run out. And then I want to show you guys really quickly. This item right here is called a Totem of Undying. This is what you get from killing evokers. And this is probably honestly the biggest, like, best loot thing that you can get from here. If you die while holding a Totem of Undying, you actually don't die. It lets you come back to life, and you're like invincible for just a couple seconds while you regenerate some hearts. So it's pretty clutch. It's really, really nice, especially if you're in like the nether or something. If it might give you time to get out of the lava or something, it's really nice to have. But also, as you can see, I'm pillaring across right here, and that's because this face right over here is the one that sometimes has loot behind it. Not always. Sometimes, if you break through this one, there will be a room behind it that is full of loot. Not always, but sometimes. And so I thought for sure right now when this opened up that there was loot behind it, and I was really excited. However, I realized this one generated a little bit weird, and it just took me to the next floor. And so I was super, super sad about that, to be honest, because I definitely thought that this was going to take me to the loot room. But unfortunately, no. But there's still some cool stuff on this final floor, so we'll go through and check around, make sure we see everything. And once again, I really do think that it'd be pretty fun to make this some sort of base at some point. Now, that'll probably be well in the future because there's quite a few things I want to do before that, more pertinent things. But I think it'd be a fun thing to try at some point. And so I think the best option here is we'll explore this area. And it looks like there's a much bigger library here, which is actually pretty cool. There might be some stuff in here, but even if there's not, there's still a lot of books that we could get from here, which is sweet. And so, oh, there's a creeper. That's not good. Oh, man. That sucks. Oh, well. Unfortunately, our inventory is full, so we can't get all those books that are right there, so they're just going to go to waste. So that's pretty sad. Don't like that, but oh, well. That's fine. We don't really need books right now anyways. They're a pretty valuable item, but we don't really need them right now. There's some interesting rooms here. Now, I wish I was this good at decorating. This is my big issue. Well, I have lots of issues with building. One, I just have a hard time building a good-looking structure from the outside. But if I can finally get it to look good from the outside, then getting to decorating is so hard. I swear, I am like the worst builder in Minecraft ever. But that's okay. I'm trying to get better. These cat statues are pretty fun. I don't even really like cats, but like, it's pretty fun. No offense to anyone who likes cats, but not my favorite. To be fair, I am allergic, so I kind of have a free out. Oh, there is an evoker here. That's what their attack looks like. We finally got hit by one. There's some doors here. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. I feel like there's so many things in here where they could have cool stuff, but they just don't. Just a bunch of empty stuff. We're going to have to throw something out of our inventory so we can get this next Totem of Undying. We'll just get rid of some string. We don't need that. We'll check behind. Nothing behind. We'll light it up. There's a little alcove up there. There's probably a chest in there. Let's check it out. There is. Sweet. So we've got 2 loot chests here. Piercing, which is all right, I guess. Not really that good, but we'll take it anyways. I just got to think of what I'm going to get rid of to get it in there. And there's also another lead and a music disc. And so that's actually really interesting. We have not found a music disc yet in this series. So what a music disc does is there's a couple different kinds of them. There's a couple different ways to get them. We'll go into that a little bit more later. But one of the ways, obviously, is finding them in dungeons and stuff like this. And then there's another way that you can try and farm them a little bit more. But music discs, I mean, they're not like the craziest cool thing, but some people really like them. They all have different noises that you can play through and do some fun stuff with. And so we'll have to do some experimenting with them in the future. I've never done a whole lot with them because I haven't really been too into audio, but I think it'd be fun to do something with them at some point. There's some cool stuff you can play around with them. I think we've checked out this entire floor. We might just go through and check the roof really quick. I doubt there's anything up there, but I think it's a good idea to just check. And so we'll do that really quickly, and then we'll see if there's anything up there. But I want to keep exploring. And there's one more final tip that's important that I think everybody should do. So it looks like there isn't anything here. I might start lighting things up after I take out that creeper. That was the worst shot ever. That was embarrassing. Should have cut that out. Oh, well. But the one thing I would recommend you all definitely do is make sure you make another portal here because, like for me, I'm super far away. You guys might be closer, but that's really, really far away. And so another portal, while it's going to be hard to link them up, it'll take some time. It'll make it so you can get back to here much, much quicker than before. It'll make it 8 times faster, in fact, is the statistics. It'll make it a lot easier. But that's probably going to be it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. But I hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'll catch you guys all in that next video.